For the earnest expectation of the Christian waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. Now that earnest expectation has not been attained for some people. So it leaves you with a groaning that verses number 22 describes. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. Why that groaning? Because you've not yet attained destiny. Why that groaning? Because there's a vacuum. Why that groaning? Because you have not yet laid hold and arrested and grasped the very lane, the very wheel, the very pursuit of purpose. Someone, hallelujah. So verse number 22 says what? For we know that the whole creation, that means even a cow, needs to find an owner. So unataka ununue ng'ombe, ndio ng'ombe siwe na lia kilio hicho. Some of us may need to keep a dog, because a dog will need someone to kumulisha. Someone may need to keep chicken. Maana kuku wale wanategemea mtu wa kuwalisha ni wewe. So imagine mbwa wako ambaye hakuli, anamangamanga kila mara agongwe na gari. Mbwa ambaye analala kwa mlango, analinda kwako, lakini umlishi. Ng'ombe wako umemfuga ili ukamue maziwa, lakini humlishi. Kuku wako kataka ule nyama ama wakutagie mayai ili ule, lakini wewe umewacha kwamba wacha ujitafutie, hata ukikula choo wakule washibe, mimi bora lete mayai. You are wicked. Wewe ni muovu. Mbwa wako uwachunge wanamangamanga, wakaumoma watu wakafanya hasara. Wewe you are wicked. Mbwa apeleke polisi, lakini wewe utapeleka polisi. Ng'ombe wako wanaenenda kwa mashamba za watu, wanakula wakileta mikosi na mitafaruku na migongano. Alafu nasema ni mnyama na amealeta hasara. Wewe ni muovu sana. Wewe ni mtu muovu. Si ufunge wanyama wako. Si wachunge wanyama wako. Maana kama ungewatunza basi wangefanyishwa wengine hasara. So you find that katika hizo ng'ombe anamangamanga na tangatanga, mbwa vile vile na mangamanga na tangatanga. Yaani kuna wanyama ambao wewe ukifanikiwa utakuwa faida kwao. They are groaning, wanalia, wana utungu. Kuna watu ambao hawana kazi, wanamangamanga, wanalia. Nani ataniandika kazi? Who shall employ me because I need a job? So it's someone that you are really suffering. You're looking for employment. There is an employer, someone whom you should work for. Now you should become an employer. Can you amount to be an employer? So that you employ someone, so that someone will not continue groaning. Hallelujah. Yeah, so kuna watu ambao you should be an employer. So behave like one. Andika watu kazi. Share what you have that God has given you with others. Sometimes employing a person doesn't make a person that's employed a lesser person. That's a person that should share in what God has given you as an employer. And you employer, you should know that all that you have cannot just end up with you. There's a design of God that you must share with someone you employ. So the person you employ is not, your employee is not junior. But they are simply person that must have an equal right to share what they labor for with you. That's the design of God. So wakati wewe, you've not become an employer, there are people who are groaning. So you break out into destiny fulfillment so that some people also can fulfill destiny. Because mwenye ukiandika kazi, ataoa, have na nyumba, alisha watoto, na azae. Anazaa na walisha, maana mnaunda pesa na yeye ni mfanyikazi wako. Someone, do you see how that equation works? Do you see how that, you see that chart? It's a chart. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yeah, so build houses, people to rent. Those who rent should have a place to stay so that they can come to church and serve God. Someone nenda jenga nyumba, na ujenge nyumba mingi kwa mapenzi ya Bwana, bora usiibe. Now look at that way. So kuna watu, you are not becoming an employer or an employee. You're not becoming a husband or you're not becoming a wife. So when you don't become a wife, kuna watoto wajazaliwa. There are children that need to be born. So they are not being born. Because you woman, you know, found a husband. And some men that should be husbands, wanajifanya hawa ni ma priest, hawaoi. Musumba. So there are beautiful women that should get married. But there are men who are so dummy. They don't see the importance of marrying. They are of age, but they think that they are boys. Unless you have a unique case to be exempted. So katika leo kuna wanawake wanalia machozi kila mara, nitaoleka lini? Where is my husband? Ni Chinese ama Japanese? Ni Koreanese ama Taiwanese? Ni Arabic ama Indian? So you found that there are women who are ever in tears. They are groaning, when shall I have my man? And some of them can groan mpaka waingie kwa uasherati na usinzi. Others can groan and then they become so desperate, throwing themselves anywhere. If a man can marry. Wanawake chunga, you can throw yourself at a chimpanzee. You can throw yourself to a bim bim bim. Bim 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 is actually a gorilla. And you can throw yourself, some woman, to a man that is a dog. Who are called actually players. They play women. Those are men who are dogs. Because only a dog does that one. And the dog won't be judged for that. A cockerel won't be judged for that. A he-goat won't be judged for that. And a ram won't be judged for that. As well as a bull, they won't be judged for that. A he is a he, as long as the animals. But one that be man, you be judged. So mwanamke ukiangukia mbwa ambao wanaume mbwa, pole. Hao ni wanaume ambao ni wanaume wasinzi. And so si wanaume muoe. So there's a man that should actually marry so that a woman can fulfill destiny. So you and that woman, you fulfill destiny. You bring forth watoto wa kiroho. Among them can be prophets like myself to serve God's agenda. And others can bring forth president because as in Kenya in a presidential material. So how we wish that there's a woman who had sired a man who can be president, whom God can be pleased with as a king.